Facts First presents. After this guy paddled from San Francisco to Hawaii, he had a startling warning for the world. Antonio de la Rosa is a pretty incredible guy. Loves the ocean, loves the water, and he really loves adventure. Antonio spent a lot of time on the water before deciding to take the trip of a lifetime. He lived in San Francisco, California, and he wanted to travel to Oahu, Hawaii. Millions of people do that every year, but most of them travel by plane. That's not very adventurous, though, and it's not really a big deal. Antonio wanted to make the trip on his paddleboard. He would be the first person to ever make the trip in that way. He knew it was going to be a difficult trip, so he made sure that he was prepared. Now, a typical paddleboard is designed for a few hours out on the water. You can bring along a bottle of water to drink, maybe a sandwich and a backpack. Well, since Antonio would be spending a much longer time than just an afternoon on the water, he had to make some serious modifications. He was planning to take the trip on his 24-foot paddleboard that he dubbed the Ocean Defender. He was going to go from San Francisco to Hawaii without a motor or any other type of power other than his own arms and legs. He was going to have to rely on those to allow him to make that 3,000-mile journey. Because Antonio was going to be out on the water for over 3 months in such a small area, he wouldn't be able to pack a lot of bottles of water. He could have had a support boat follow him that could carry everything he needed, but that's not how he wanted to make this trip. He wanted to do it all on his own without an escort. Because he couldn't carry water with him, he had to come up with another idea. He brought with him a system that could take the salt out of seawater, making it safe to drink. Since the water was one of his biggest necessities, his system was extremely valuable for the trip. He also needed a way to radio for help and to contact his loved ones back home. Since he was only going to be out on a paddleboard, he wouldn't have access to any type of generators or electrical equipment. Based on the small amount of space he had on the paddleboard, he knew he only had one option. He was going to bring solar panels to keep his communication system working. When it came to food, he didn't have the room on his paddleboard to bring too much. He knew he wouldn't be able to bring a lot of food, so he brought along fishing equipment instead. He figured he could catch his meals while on the sea, saving a lot of space on the paddleboard. In total, just the supplies weighed 1,500 pounds. He needed to make his supplies as light as possible since he would be powering his paddleboard with just his arms and legs. When he had everything that he would need for the journey, he set off. Antonio set out onto the water with high hopes. He was going to need to travel 3,000 miles if he was going to get to Hawaii from San Francisco. On a good day, he could travel 50 miles. On the days when the current was strong and working against him, though, he'd only make it about 10 miles. Without an ample supply of food, he started losing weight after the first few days of the trip. When he got to Hawaii, he says that he lost around 25 pounds. If it weren't for the fish he was catching from the ocean, he says he would have lost even more weight. Antonio says he has great respect for the ocean, and he wishes other people did as well. The painted sign on the side of his board reads, "Save the ocean, no plastics, no nets, recycle." He'd seen the pollution in the bay with his own eyes and even some evidence of pollution in the water, but nothing like what he saw while he was traveling from San Francisco to Hawaii. He says the reason why he was taking the trip in the first place was to raise awareness of ocean pollution. During his trip, Antonio came across an area known as the Great Plastic Garbage Patch. It's a 918,000 square mile area of waste plastic. He says each day he would see plastic packaging, plastic bags, and the remains of fishing nets. He says that there wasn't even a single day that he wouldn't see some type of plastic floating in the water. He believes that if we don't do something to change things soon, we're going to destroy our oceans. It took Antonio a total of 76 days to get to his destination of Oahu, Hawaii. He paddled from San Francisco to Hawaii, and he had a startling warning for the world. If we don't keep plastic out of our oceans soon, the whole planet will regret it. What other ways can we bring about awareness of pollution? Share your ideas in the comments and subscribe for more.